He's aping The Shining so much in this. It
Stephen
feels
King
like
and
The
a
Shining The Shining, Rashomon, and Strange Darling all had a baby, and it's weapons. And then Amy Madigan pops out and starts doing blood magic everywhere.
Don't you go feeding the entire works of Stephen King into an AI, Walt the Dewey Cox. Don't you do it.
Get out of here, Dewey. You don't want nothing to do with this. So, welcome to season 4 of Talking Pondo. Talking Pondo is a podcast where Cliff and Marty give each other a film to watch and talk about them in detail. Some episodes will include a special guest.
Blood Sugar Soup Magic, the Red Hot Chili Peppers story, will not be seen this week, so we may bring you the following unintentional comedy.
Soup magic. Yikes.
Blood Sugar Soup Magic.
She has it.
Yeah, it reminded me of that classic Red Hot Chili Peppers song. Blood Sugar Soup Magic.
She has it. Soup magic.
Dark Magic. Soup Magic. Hey, kid, where are you going with all that soup? It's Talking Pondo. We're back. I'm Marty.
Yeah, I'm Cliff.
And we got 2 more for you.
We do, and it's all chicken noodle on this episode. There's no variety. It's just chicken noodle. Skim some broth, some chicken noodle, and just shove it in their mouths too. That don't take any kind of care or give you any sort of bite that you can kind of handle. I'm just going to shove a giant spoonful of chicken noodle into your fucking mouth. Sorry.
See, it's funny. And the people who made that movie were comedians before, so I feel like there's a little bit of the funny coming through. But anyway, it's Talking Pondo. We got 2 movies for you. We're talking about one of them kind of already. We're talking about Weapons.
That's right.
Weapon X. No, not Weapon X.
It's not Weapon X. It's just Weapons.
No adamantium claws today.
No, there's no. We would, but actually, that might have improved that movie because with the way all those kids were running, if you had put adamantium claws on all of them, they would have looked like Wolverines everywhere.
Wolverine Naruto run.
Mm-hmm. The Wolverine Naruto run. I would pay a lot of money to see Wolverine do a fucking Naruto run.
You almost did if you use your imagination when you watch Weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say we've also got this movie American Fiction, which strap in. I have a few notes on that thing.
Strap in, people. Strap in.
Strap in. What do I know? Interesting and other crazy shit that we say over and over again.
Fascinating.
What do you want to start with? Or do you have any? Do we have any?
No, there's no feedback or anything this week.
Okay.
Let me see.
One of the things I wanted to say was that we just did our episode with the guests from It's Just a Show. And if they're listening, Chris and Charlie, thanks for coming on the show. It was an awesome episode. I just got finished editing it and uploading it. It's going to come out in a couple weeks. And it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. It was a really fun episode and probably one of the better episodes we've done.
Yeah. I mean, you all at home have already heard it, but as the time of this recording, it's still in the cloud for us. But I thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And and Chris and Charlotte they're very, very gracious guests. And we really appreciate them coming on. I mean, it was really nice of them to come on and they were just a lot of fun. So thank you.
Yeah, that was good. Hopefully we'll have them back before too long. We have so many guests and so many of them are like, when am I coming back on? And it's like, as you may have noticed, we're still plowing through the first timers here, but we want to get everybody into the mix and then we can start bringing the repeat guests back. And then that's what season 4 is all about, getting a lot of these first timers in. So we got some more hopefully heavy hitters coming for you soon, or just people who want to be on the show. So,
Well, I think we tried to lock Chris and Charlotte down with some mixture. I can't remember what it was, but he was adamant that there was no way in hell he was going to watch that movie. And I don't
But it's funny because he's the one who brought it up. He brought up Ford Fairlane because of Morris Day being in it. And then we're like, oh, you want to watch that? And it's like, uh-oh. But the thing was, he agreed with us that it's good to use the podcast to plow through the never-ending to watch list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I got to do a pod. I got to watch this movie now. So
yeah. And that's literally why we started the pod, was like, dude, have you seen this? When are you going to watch this? Because I want to talk to you about it. So,
and we're doing that today. Movies from the last
exactly
5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
honestly, both of these, I think I've seen American Fiction, but it was so long ago I completely forgot about it. It was like watching it all over again. And I've never seen Weapons. So
brand new to me here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good season because there's a lot of blind picks coming up.
Mm-hmm. A lot of picks that you wish you were blind.
Yep.
Hopefully not.
Very true.
We got to start with Weapons.
Yeah. Okay.
Orion Pictures, New Line Pictures. What year is this? These movies start with these old logos, and you're like, what? That's strange. This was the New Line one. Orion was the American Fiction. And it's just like, okay, trippy. Mm-hmm. But here we are in the house that Freddie built, New Line Cinema.
Correct.
And I haven't laughed this hard since I finally understood why Red Zone Cuba was funny. What is like Weapons?
Well, a weapon is something that you use to harm. No, I'm kidding. Weapons, 2025, rated R, 2 hours and 8 minutes. When all but one child from the same class mysteriously vanish on the same night at exactly the same time, a community is left questioning who or what is behind their disappearance. This is written and directed by a pretty hot prospect guy named Zach Kreger. He's done some other things like Barbarian. He was part of the Whitest
Which we haven't watched.
Here is your storyline. Reviewers say, that's the summary. Sorry, where's the story? Anyway, so Weapons storyline. At exactly 2:17 a.m., 17 kids from Miss Gandy's class at Maybrook Elementary School walked into the darkness and disappeared. All but one. Their parents never saw it coming and point the blame against the teacher, Miss Gandy. After all, she seemingly knows more than she's letting on. After an entire month of investigation, there has been no progress and none of it makes any sense. Refusing to take the rap for something she claims to have nothing to do with, Miss Gandy attempts to solve the case on her own while also grappling with her own inner demons. Why did Alex Lilly stay behind? And what force made his classmates disappear?
If you don't want to know,
all right, let's get into it. First off, I just want to say this. Before we even get started, watching this movie, I knew that you were going to have an earful for me from it. Like, I'm an hour into this movie, I just stopped and I was like, oh shit, this is going to be good. This is going to be good. So let me have it.
If you don't want to know what happened to Alex, turn the podcast off because we always spoil things.
Yeah,
anyway.
We're going to spoil it.
You can't talk about this one and not disclose everything that's going on.
It's impossible.
So, like I said, I watched this after the other movie.
Oh, okay, I did too.
And I started within the first, few minutes.
Like, did you watch them back to back, like just one after the other?
Not really, one after.
Okay,
not back to back though. But it was. I'll talk about the beginning of that one when we get to that. But the beginning of this one was like, what is going on for a couple of minutes, and then I started laughing uncontrollably for about 5 minutes straight. And I thought to myself, it's all zoom-ins in back of people's heads. And this little kid narrating, talking about, well, like the kids disappeared, and then they never found the kids, and I started laughing. I lost it. I'm like, this is like one of those, I didn't know they made movies like this anymore. Hey man, you get really high and you go see this movie and it's like, what's going on? And like the kids are running and wow, man. And so I was like, oh, okay, this is supposed to be funny, even though it's obviously not. But there was a lot of it that I approached the rest of it that way. And I think I enjoyed it a little bit more going, this is like so borderline, like so bad it's good, then goes back to bad, then goes back to good. It's like teetering that line of like, haha, you thought we were making something clever, but then we went, this is just silly. And of course, since the guy has a comedic background, it felt like there was a little bit of that seeped in. But right from the beginning, and they do get away from it, but it's all zoom ins and back aheads over and over. It never stops for like the first
Well,
5 minutes. And you go, that's
yeah,
filmmaking
because
101. Every teacher told me, do not do these things. And here they are just doing it over and over. And I'm just like losing my shit. Now, of course, that's only in the
your
first
teacher
five
told you
minutes.
not to do zoom-ins?
Oh, every film teacher told me zoom ins were bad. And of course, you never focus on the back of somebody's head, but I do believe on that one. The
Well,
back of somebody's
focus
head
on the
can't
back,
convey
yeah,
an
back of someone's
emotion.
head. Well, it depends what you're doing with it, but yeah, I mean, if you don't want to just kind of put a
But
scene where you're
here, I
focusing on the back
thought
of
they
the
were
film.
just like
I had
trying to
I
be
had never heard of the
obtuse on
zoom ins
purpose.
bit because to
Yeah,
me, zooming in on a slow zoom in is a technique to build tension and to
yeah, the
build
old schools hate that shit.
to
Man.
build
Yeah.
tension and to stretch a scene a bit. And we I mean, they're not even zoom ins anymore. They're like these slow.
Well, yeah.
What do they have, those motorized, like, sliders, that they put these cameras on and they just slowly the computer controlled sliders that slide them in slowly over 20 or 30 seconds so you can kind of fuck with the focus and all that stuff. I hadn't heard that one, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. There's a lot of that in the very beginning of the movie for sure.
And so here we are again. Let's talk about linear filmmaking.
Oh Lord.
Repeat
Uh-huh.
it with me, kids. Linear. Unless you really got something going on with the way you're telling your story out of order, it is a gimmick. And in the case of this story, if you told it in order, you'd probably learn things you shouldn't learn before, and then you start pulling at the straws and the whole thing falls apart. But for me, the biggest thing about the telling it out of order is I'm kind of interested in the teacher story, right? And I'm kind of interested in Thanos' story. But then we suddenly switch to this cop and
Josh Brolin.
the cop and the drug dealer story, and I'm like, oh man, I don't really care about these guys, and I have to kind of sit through their story in the middle to get back to it gets up to that heightened thing, like, oh, she's getting attacked. Now let's cut right to the other story, and I'm like, oh my, okay,
Well,
I see what you're doing, but I'm always so hard on that technique.
there's a very so look. I think that this is different than I think what you're trying to you're tying them kind of to Strange Darling, right? This idea of telling a story out of order. This one isn't necessarily told out of order per se. It's Rashomon. Yeah, it's from multiple perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yes, as you get different perspectives, you get more of the story as it moves along, for sure. It reminded me a bit of I don't know if you saw that movie, The Duel, with Matt Damon and what's his name. But it's that same thing. It's about a knight and a squire and a woman, and she claims that the squire rapes her, and the squire claims that it's consensual, and Matt Damon plays the knight, challenges him to a duel because, of course, back then, if you won, that meant God was on your side and shit like that. But it tells the same story from three exactly different perspectives, very Rashomon-like. So I don't know. There's a bit of both, right? It's like, I don't know. You could call it Rashomon Darling, maybe Strange Rashomon.
No, it's more Rashomon, yeah, than anything.
Mm-hmm.
It also,
but it does have a little bit of that out of sequence, like you were talking about. But I think it's more perspective based, right?
And I also feel like it's very Stephen King derivative in a way. The storytelling, like you build up all the interesting, weird people in the neighborhood. You're telling all of their stories. It's very novelistic, right? And then they start mixing with each other, like the Salem Slaughter and It. And I think this is because the young generation rediscovered Stephen King when the It remake came out. I
completely agree.
And now
I completely agree with that.
Now we're getting their kind of versions of a Stephen King type story. So I was like, okay, I can see what they're doing there. But that's, I was like, it's a trip how that keeps going. Like we have the whole of his written work and we can kind of absorb it all now and then come out with Salem's Lot Light kind of or something like that,
Well, and honestly, it gives me hope because if there's a master of written horror, it's King. not just horror in writing, but just he's a great storyteller in general. If you can go all the way from Stand By Me all the way up to The Shining and so on, right? So if these new filmmakers are trying to emulate him and his storytelling, that gives me some hope, at least. Shit.
If only the movie had given me that hope. So after I finished watching it, I went to Letterboxd because sometimes I like to see what the general public thinks of things, and I went to the half-star reviews just to start, and I scrolled for 5 minutes to get to a 1-star review. There are thousands of half-star reviews for this movie. There's also a lot of 5-star reviews.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a polarizing film. It's the same as Sinners or One Battle.
It's not the same.
They're polarizing.
It's not the same because those don't have thousands of half-star reviews. I could not believe the absolute vitriol and hate. It's not a bad movie. It's not a great movie, but I don't know why people dump on it that much. I mean, I almost gave up scrolling. I'm like, is it ever going to stop? And then finally some 1-stars came in. I'm like, okay, but my God, people, this really aggravated people. I thought it was kind of funny. I'm the guy who thought Whiplash was funny. You got to remember, I got weird sensibilities on this stuff. So I was enjoying it from the ridiculousness factor of it all, because it is kind of over the top in parts. But boy, some people are really against this thing.
Sinners on Letterboxd has 7,000 half-star ratings.
How many does this have?
Okay. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. These films in particular are I'm glad why we're having Weapons on, because I do feel like it's a polarizing film. It's one of these films that you either like or you're either going to like it or you're going to, I don't think there's going to be a lot of people in the middle that were just kind of like, meh.
Yeah.
11,000.
Twice so.
So 7,500 for Sinners, 11,000 for Weapons. So again, I would consider those very polarizing films.
That
right?
I wonder
what One Battle After Another has. Just out of complete curiosity. One Battle After Another. Let's see here.
Oh, man.
There it is. Because these things are going up for the Oscars tonight. Okay, so it's got 8,200 half-star ratings.
Well, yeah.
So I think there's people out there that are just straight up fucking haters.
Is Weapons like nominated for any?
Weapons? Yeah, it's nominated for 1 Oscar. Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role by Amy Madigan.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they're pushing.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I want to say that the George Harrison track at the beginning of the movie, while the kids are disappearing, gives it a very good creepy vibe. This is a movie this isn't a movie that's necessarily scary, like your traditional horror movie, like it's trying to do more of a Shining type thing. It's trying to do more of like implied horror and things of that nature than it is trying to do a lot of jump scares and a lot of effects and a lot of, throat slashes and chases. And, there's no final girl in the film, that type of thing. So it's a different type of horror movie. It's definitely not a slasher. There's a line in the film that says you're either negligent or complicit, because at the very beginning she's, the town thinks that she has something to do with the disappearance of these kids because it's only her and this other kid that, are left from this classroom, and
maybe we should investigate the kid, not the teacher.
Sure. I admire people who can see things so black and white and just go, well, obviously you're one of the fucking people, so you must know. Either you don't or, one of these things.
Don't worry, we'll team up later.
It's like, what the fuck? So the town thinks she's a witch, right? And the town thinks she's involved with all these kids disappearing. So what does she do? She follows the only surviving fucking kid home on foot, right?
Well, she has to know, yeah.
Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, is there no other way to do that other than to walk down the middle of the street in a neighborhood following a kid all the way up to his front fucking door and then peeking in the side of his fucking window? Like, it's just really, I mean, especially if the whole town is suspicious of her. what the fuck? You know, it just
Mhm.
seems like a I don't know, operating in broad daylight kind of thing. It's very weird.
Yeah,
Her
don't try
fear
to
of the
make
town's reprisal, her fear of the town's reprisal abates very quickly in the film. Within 30 minutes, she's not worried about the town coming after her anymore. You know, she may, you know, until Josh Brolin shows up, she's not super worried. She is in the very beginning. There's all this tension about the town coming after her, and she's worried. And she calls the cops about the, you know, the paint on her car and all that type of shit. And then suddenly she just doesn't give a fuck, and she's going to follow a 10-year-old home.
Mhm.
It doesn't make a lot of fucking sense to me.
Well, and then the Rashomon switching, that by the time you switch back to her, we've completely hoped that you've forgotten about those details, so we won't go back
Mm-hmm.
to them. That was
Mm-hmm.
another one of my like things with the way they were doing it, kind of like don't question a lot of stuff or it's really not going to make any sense, which is a lot of what I have to get into.
The Amy Madigan jump scare on the ceiling the first time we see her is really well done. Um,
I thought it was
it's
Tim
weird.
Curry for a second. You know, I'm like, is this it? What's going on here?
It's weird to me to,
Anyway.
for me personally, to be able to see the front door from your master bedroom is a weird thing. Like, you know, at one scene in the movie, the teacher is laying in bed, she's drunk, and she hears something, and she's got her master bedroom door open, and she can see her front door. And to me, I don't know, maybe that's the literal definition of a shotgun shack. I don't know. It's just very strange.
There's a lot strange about this movie.
And then suddenly they start naming the chapters: Archer and
Yeah.
this and that. We don't get a name chapter for the teacher, do we? I don't think that they don't start the movie with a name chapter, do they?
Oh, it might. I think it might be a Miss Grady or something.
Is
Or
it Miss
whatever
Grady? Okay, maybe I
or
missed
whatever her
that.
first name is, perhaps. I think she's the first one. Yeah. Could be
I
wrong.
do like I do like the scene where Brolin shows up and he goes to the cop and is like, "Why aren't you investigating her? And why aren't you investigating this?" And the cop's like, "We have. You know, we've looked into that. We've looked into that." And there's a great line where he just looks at him and he goes, "What are you seeing that I don't? What do you think that you see in this case that I don't see? Tell me, because I want to help you. I want to help these kids, but what do you see that I don't?" I thought that was a really, like, there's a couple of moments in the movie that are really good like that. I really thought that it was very realistic in a situation like that, of a cop to be saying, trying to get through to this parent who is completely distraught over the missing child. And what does he say? You know, what are you seeing that I don't? Tell me so that I can help you. Anyway, I thought that was really, really good.
I see
This is how
everything.
you this is how you get a 2 hour and 8 minute movie, though, dude. You
Oh,
overlap the fucking scenes and you retell shit over and over again, and you take a
show me parts
Rashomon.
of yourself. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
things I did appreciate about the film. I have never seen a movie with a Retron system in it. When the drug dealer's going through the house looking for things to steal, you can see one of those multi-cartridge game systems. I'm like, holy shit, look at that. And then he's like, oh, Willow. And that really made me laugh because there was a time where that was an out-of-print DVD and it was an expensive one at one time. So it's like, you're going to get something at the pawn shop for that. So
Ooh,
that was
Dogma on
pretty,
Blu-ray. Sweet, that's
yeah,
$100.
that was pretty cute.
Uh, the giant air rifle in the sky was
It's a weapon.
weird. It's weird
Maybe
symbology to
it's
me. It
some
didn't
sort of
make a lot of
school shooting
sense.
thing they're trying to pull. I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, well, they're weapons, right?
So let
So
me ask you this.
yeah,
Let me
go
ask you a
ahead.
question. So, so you know the scene where Brolin shows up at the house and he's talking to the mom and saying, you know, there's that weird interaction and he's trying to get her to let him watch the video footage of her Ring doorbell,
Mm-hmm.
right? And she's like, "I'm not comfortable with that." And so he ends up hanging out all day and waiting till the dad gets home, and then he gets the footage. Why was she uncomfortable with him watching the footage? And it seemed to me like in the brief second of that Ring doorbell footage, when when they cut to him actually watching the footage with the dad, like, it seemed to me like the kid might not be clothed, and like maybe that she's has a problem with him, like maybe the kid's just in his underwear or whatever and runs out into the street or whatever. But I couldn't, that was the only thing I could come up with, was like, why wouldn't you let him, you're all parents, you're all concerned, why wouldn't you let him look at this footage?
It's
Did it make
just
any
bad
sense to you?
writing. It's just bad
Just bad
writing.
writing.
It's it's trying to set up tension where there really isn't any, and
Mhm.
Yeah, if you start asking too many questions like I did, you start finding some pretty funny things to talk about, but you realize, oh my. So why did that kid show up to school? Isn't that really like painfully obvious that something's up with this kid doing here? You know, he
Because
should be
his crazy
disappeared
aunt
too,
made
right?
him, you know?
Yeah, that is true. We find
Crazy
that
aunt
out
made
later.
him.
Okay, so how come nobody noticed that all the signs were missing from the kids' lockers and the whole investigation that might have been something intriguing because he took all those, you know, but let's not focus on that. That's not important. Also, we see the story told out of sequence sometimes, right?
A
And
little bit, yeah.
there's a scene where he's walking down the street, the kid, and he runs into the teacher, right? And then he runs back to his house. Where's the soup, kid? Shouldn't you be carrying soup? That's weird. And also, how come nobody in the town is questioning how much soup this kid is buying? Kid, you're here buying all the soup every day. What are you doing with all that soup, kid? And weren't you the only kid that was from the thing? This is really suspicious. But let's not question the soup.
Haven't seen your parents in 2 weeks. What's going on, kid?
Yeah, the both of the parents of the only kid that's still around suddenly both stopped going to work at the same time. Not suspicious at all. No, because that's how CPS works. You know, that's how Child Protective Services work. Now,
And
let me
then
get into
suddenly,
the.
wait. And then suddenly it's Justin Long.
Yeah, well,
Just
he
fucking
was in
shows up
Barbarian.
out of nowhere, this motherfucker. Anyway,
He was
go
in
ahead.
Barbarian, so I figured he's like must
Yes.
like this guy like Kevin Smith. I'm like, hey, make another movie, dude. Put me in there somewhere. You know I like doing
Yeah,
their
probably
stuff.
good. Maybe he's a good luck charm or
That's
something.
what I figured. Yeah, and he's no stranger to bizarre horror films, being in Tusk and
No,
things like that.
this
So
dude's in Tusk, man. Come on.
yeah, come on, you're making a weird one. I got to be in it. So this is I don't have a whole lot to say about this movie. I've said most of it already, but this is the crux of my argument here, I guess you would say. This is a quote from Derek Schlender when he was prosecuting this movie on Reels of Justice. I went back and I listened to the episode again because I knew he made up some good points. And after I saw the movie, I was like, well, what did he say? I want to make sure that I'm not leaving any stone unturned here because I thought this was pretty damn funny. So here's the quote from that episode. And I don't think there's anything more lazy than Archer wondering if he draws two straight lines on a map that the kids ran in, maybe he can figure out where they were headed. Literally draws two straight lines, draws an arbitrary circle, and he's like, the answer must be in here. Oh, wow, 30 days of police, FBI, and canine units get fucked because nobody knows how to draw a bunch of lines. Two lines isn't even triangulation, right? Yeah, that cracked me the fuck up. It's like you're saying, we what do you know that we don't? Well, it's been 30 fucking days, man. Wouldn't you be losing your shit
It's
after like a week?
to be sure, the film's internal logic is jacked from here
Well,
to
it's kind of a
back and
juvenile
forth.
story, right? It's like a young adult thing.
It
It's like
very
a
again
Goosebumps or
like an
something.
early like a Stephen King book that's written for kids,
So
written for the young adult
it's going to
type.
be a little silly like that. And then my
So
last note is at the end during the chase sequence. Now, Ryan Luis Rodriguez recommended Yakety Sax over the chase scene at the end. My selection was, oh yeah. If you sync that up to that, it's like even funnier because like she'll close the door, running away from the kids, running past the people's houses, running through the houses like Ferris Bueller. What the fuck's going on? I'm like, this is comedy. I'm cracking the fuck up here. So, but I was also saying to myself, please end, please just end. But anyways, so you can have your thoughts here.
well, thank you. So 47 minutes in, I have a note that says this is remote piloting. That was my guess. And it kind of, I guess, is remote piloting. Basically, she's taking those kids over and she takes these people over and remotely pilots them through curses, basically.
Kind of Blair Witch,
and
but you're
yeah,
seeing
she's a witch. She's literally just a fucking witch. it's a witch story.
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
mm-hmm.
your aunt's coming to visit. Well, she's old. Well, be nice to her. Oh, she's
Yeah.
a scary old woman. Oh, she's actually a witch. This is not fucking anything fresh or original at all
No.
from that perspective. Let's see here. That scene with Paul and the boss, the cop, and he's trying to talk to his boss. There's a scene where he approaches the chief of police and he's trying to talk to him and just have like a normal like conversation, and it's
Mm-hmm.
so awkward, and it's so tough to be out of. I had this thought of like, it's so tough to be out of sync with leadership, right? Like when your boss doesn't like you, and there's not fuck all you can do about that. That's just a tough situation to be in. And I would recommend to people who are in that situation, go find another job, because eventually it's not going to work out anyway. Your boss doesn't like you. Your boss is eventually going to find a reason to fire you. Just get out on your own terms.
Or you're just going to end up possessed, stabbing yourself with a
well,
fork.
yeah, I just kept thinking of poor Dan from Sayufi, right? Like this dude shows up from another, uh, state where he, at another theater where he was, in trouble, and then moves to this theater in Tucson, and his boss didn't like him. Where did he end up? He ended up on a bike pedaling around the parking lot, being fake security. So anyway, tough. I just thought, I don't know why that hit me like that. But anyway, let's see. One of the other things is the whole sticking things in the face. There's a lot of sticking needles in your face in this movie. I don't know why that's, I guess it's just to freak people out or whatever.
A lot of pricking going on.
A lot of pricking going on. And, but yeah, I feel bad for the Paul character. His poor guy who's a recovering alcoholic, and he's got obviously a girlfriend who's desperately trying to put him on the hook with a baby in a marriage, and then he's got this other girl that's like a siren song of temptation. You know what I mean? Come drink and have sex, and come on over here. And he's like, yeah, no, that's terrible for me.
Yeah, and then that guy ends up having a bad end usually in those type of King stories. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But I kind of feel bad for him.
That's the sad part of the horror, right? The tragedy. Yeah.
This very much feels like it's aping Kubrick and The Shining.
Oh yeah, here's Johnny.
Mm-hmm. It just feels very much like that. One of my favorite lines is, "I really don't like police stations. I'm phobic," which I think is hilarious. Yeah, I'm phobic to police stations too, guy. Mm-hmm. The first time I saw Gladys, when she shows up and she's actually in a scene for longer than just a second, I'm thinking, that fucking wig is so obvious. Like, dude, holy shit. And I'm laughing because the wig is so obvious. And then, of course, later on we find out, it is actually a wig in the movie. And I was like, oh, that's a good play, because my God, that was a bad prosthetic.
Because that's what he uses as her item at the end.
Yeah. And so one of my notes is, she's a witch. Really? Is this supposed to frighten me? And I guess I'm more curious who this Amy Madigan character is. We got no backstory on her at all. Who is she?
They're making a prequel, I think.
Where did she get these fucking powers from? Why is it about kids? Why isn't it about adult? Like, there's a lot.
But that's what
I have a lot of
fucking
questions.
It's since you don't know, it makes her creepier. Was she really related to them? Is that why the kid can do the blood magic? Right? I don't know. Or can anybody do it? Did she have an extra stick on her in the basement to turn Josh Brolin? I mean, what was going on here?
Yes. Is she taking revenge? Yeah. Is she taking revenge? Why is she doing this? Because she just fucking shows up and is basically like, yeah, she's like, I'm going to take over this kid. These parents are fucking bullshit. And now the town is mine. It's just a weird.
Yeah. The parents couldn't recharge me. Now I need the kids. Maybe they'll recharge me, is what it seems like. But they don't really answer. They just,
but there's no recharging. I mean, it's just a bunch of kids in a basement staring at a fucking wall like it's the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, eating soup. And there's sticks in the Blair Witch Project. That's why I was like, they took that and they like made a movie out of it rather than just a bunch of shaky camera footage, kind of.
This is another movie where it takes the person 20 seconds to start their car. That's a RAV4. Like that fucker. I have one. They'll start immediately. Mine starts with, you just push a button, but jamming a key into an ignition lock and turning it is not that hard, and it doesn't take that long. It's just, yeah. When did Staring Off into the Distance horror start, Marty?
Well,
do you know its origin, that origin of like, where the character just stares off into the distance and we're supposed to have all this dread and creepy fear?
well, I'm not positive, but I think you mentioned it. It's the Jack Nicholson in The Shining with the 40-yard
Okay.
stare comes to mind, and then
Mm-hmm.
Full Metal Jacket. Hey, this is Kubrickian.
Mm-hmm. It's very Kubrick. He's aping The Shining so much in this. It
Stephen King
feels
in a
like The
blender.
Shining yeah, The Shining, Rashomon, and Strange Darling all had a baby and its
Mm-hmm.
weapons. And then Amy Madigan pops out and starts doing blood magic everywhere.
Don't you go feeding the entire works of Stephen King into an AI, Walt the Dewey Cox. Don't you do it.
Get out of here, Dewey. You don't want nothing to do with this. So
Can you study
here's
all of
my
his
other
works
problem.
and give me a witch story, please?
Here's my other problem with this movie is multiple times I see people get stabbed in the face, but I don't see any blood.
No. Well, she's got some interesting powers, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a conscious choice to make it more creepy. But if I see somebody get jammed in the face with 4 hypodermic needles, I expect a little blood.
They're probably trying to prevent the unrated from happening. Even in this day and age, there's still going to be a thing where they're like, nope, that's too much for an R. That's my guess.
What if Alex had just walked into the police station instead of going home? What if he had just gone to school, gotten out, and immediately just walked into a police station and started talking?
Like and subscribe.
They go in, they nuke Amy Madigan from orbit, and then the movie's over in 20 minutes.
Well, it's another series of bad decisions in a film, leading to more bad outcomes, and then you can't stop it. And then it's like, wait a minute, is this funny all of a sudden?
It's so weird to me how shitty Alex is about feeding his parents. There doesn't seem to be any care or affection or concern. He's just literally like I said at the beginning, he just has this giant fucking spoonful of noodles and soup and he's just jamming it into their mouths, and what goes in and what doesn't, fuck it.
So if he had properly fed them, they would have regained consciousness, but they're malnourished. That's why they're not talking still. The curse is that you have no energy left because you fed us nothing but fucking soup, and you probably didn't even put water in it to make the condensed,
No, it's just the same. No chicken and stars either. Just shitty ass chicken noodle soup. Thanks, dude.
Hey, this Dear Diary, this this local town is like buying a lot of soup, and we gotta send even more there. For some reason, it's just flying off the fucking charts. So, the prequel to Weapons 2, Chicken Noodle.
One of my notes is LOL and Marty bitched about Strange Darling, because I knew you were going to have like I told you, I knew you were going to have a problem with this movie, because I do too. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, they greenlit the sequel. It's going to be called Fuck Weapons. It's the new movie from Stag R. Lee based on his hit novel Fuck Weapons.
Fuck Weapons. Oh, what was the budget on this thing? It was $38 million. It did 151 in the US, and it did 270 worldwide. So it's a hit. Yeah, he's gonna have a whole franchise off of it.
Good for them,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's just not for me.
No, it ain't for me either.
Dear Diary, my aunt moved in, and good Christ is she weird. And I'm not talking about that wig she's wearing. My parents are totally intimidated by her, and now she wants to bring trinkets from all my friends. Yeah, I don't think so. Whatever, witch lady. I'd rather fry flea like a bird. Hands out.
You either did it or you're implicit, kid, and you're implicit.
That's right. That's right.
You went along with it, man. You were into it at some points. You were like getting along with Gladys.
Were those kids CGI?
No.
I feel like some of those kids were CGI.
But it's so funny because, he draws a straight line, but those kids are turning corners, jumping over shit. There is no straight line. And they can use their arms when they want to. I did think it was creepy as hell when fucking dude runs out to the service station and starts attacking her. It's like, what the fuck? And then we cut away.
Oh, yeah.
Like, God damn it, movie. Show me that.
Yeah. it has its moments and it does some cool things, but for the most part, it's just so unbelievably goofy. It's like a bad Ari Aster film, which is literally all of Ari Aster's movies. But it's that we'll have to get him on the show too.
It's the future stoner classic. Yeah, it's like, oh, what, you seen Weapons, man? You got to be high to watch this movie,
Weapons, man.
You're just not going to get
man.
it otherwise, man. The kids are like, they're flying, man.
Mm-hmm.
I give it 1.
What's that movie by Aronofsky? The fucking Tree movie by Aronofsky. I've heard people tell me that one too. The Tree of Life by Darren Aronofsky. Yeah, have you seen that one, man? Man, if you get really fucking high, it's like totally just means so much to you, man.
You ever seen On Weed, man? That's the way to see it, man.
I give Weapons 2.5. You know, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. It was, I'd watch it again. It was fine.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I wouldn't put it on myself, but if somebody had it on, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my god, this is the worst thing."
I'd sit there and have a good time riffing it. I mean, because I feel like they made something that's a little goofy, and I think the more you watch it, this could turn into like The Next Room or Rocky Horror. With the right amount of curation, people running around the theater with their hands behind their back and shit. Because, like even you said, the George Harrison song, they are trying to be out there.
Oh yeah,
right?
And there are good creepy moments. The film shoots some good atmospheric moments, and some of the stuff's creepy, and there's some good jump scares. And my wife absolutely loved this. She was like, "Oh my god, it was so good! You're gonna love it." And I was like, yes and no. There are things about it I really liked, and other things that I was just kind of like,
yeah. There was just so much that I'm like.
Some of it's just too easy. It's just too easy. It's just too pat. You know what I mean? Anyway, so moving on to American Fiction.
American Fiction. A movie that had proper Tucson bashing in it for a change. What is American Fiction?
American Fiction from 2023, rated R. 1 hour and 57 minutes. A novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment uses a pen name to write a book that propels him into the heart of the hypocrisy and madness he claims to disdain. This is written and directed by Cord Jefferson and stars Geoffrey Wright, Skylar Wright, John Ailes. Let's see. Storyline. Cord Jefferson's hilarious directorial debut confronts our culture's obsession with reducing people to outrageous stereotypes. Geoffrey Wright stars as Monk, a frustrated novelist who's fed up with the establishment profiting from black entertainment that relies on tired and offensive tropes. To prove his point, Monk uses a pen name to write his own outlandish black book that propels him into the heart of hypocrisy and the madness he claims to disdain. Right away, I want to say that this feels like a black version of Sideways or The Holdovers, tone-wise. It just has that sort of tone to it. Smart, sharp, intellectual comedy, just dealing with a more black-centric subject matter.
I got Tar from it.
Tar? Okay. I can take that too. Yeah. I thought it was way funnier than Tar, but I can see what you mean.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but I can see what you mean, because there's parts of that movie where she's kind of, she's skewering kind of I see
like not even 2 minutes in, and if I got over that word, you can get over it. And I'm like, I'm not even 2 minutes in, and I'm like, this is so fucking good.
Yeah.
And it never stops.
Yeah. It's sharp. The writing is sharp. It's funny. The fact that he sends that poor girl out of his classroom crying, and then is immediately in a meeting where he's being told,
it all off,
it's like, fuck, it's and that's why it feels like that Holdovers a little bit, right? Where it's, you've got this strange teacher, this academic setting. It's very smart and witty and funny, and it's kind of skewering some preconceived stuff.
Yeah, people say he's very Giamatti-like, and so
that fits.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. Weez lives in the ghetto. I was just like, my note just says "God damn" with an LOL right next to it. Like, holy shit, dude.
He's standing in the back of the room, Billy Shaw style, after being in a panel that only had a few people in it with these other authors. And my God, we know this is all true. We've all been there. We've all seen it. It's so real. And it's like, the Tucson connection. This guy's Tucsonan, and it's like I feel the Tucson cynicism and bite in every line and every scene. and it's like I said, proper Tucson bashing. Why you still? And I still live in Tucson. I'm like, oh, okay, now we're gonna get it right. And he's like, but what's so bad about Tucson? And then his brother Cliff, who is the one who lives in Tucson, not Marty, who he plays in another movie, strangely enough.
That was weird.
There's only one gay bar in Tucson, and it only has college kids in it. And I'm like, oh my God, proper Tucson bashing, not some Romeo and Michelle or Hamlet 2 where the Hollywood's just hating on us because we canceled our tax incentive, but proper from somebody who actually lived here, who knows what this place is. And my God, that was so fucking refreshing. I mean, I love a good biting satire, and
Same.
I love things that send up, Hollywood, and this one has the literary world and Hollywood mixed in with a slice of life movie all thrown together, and it somehow works. And I tell you, I absolutely adore movies that show that all of humanity is full of shit. I love it. I love when it's just showing that everybody is just, it's just a crock of shit, man, especially in show business. And we're doing this just to make a buck. And it's so funny to watch this after things like America's Sweethearts and SOB and a few of the others we've done, because they're all kind of in that same vein of the, that biting satire. But this one was just like, I'm just so fucking happy I watched this.
One of my favorite lines early on is Cliff's not in a good place. Yeah, no shit. He's in a very bad place.
He's such a good actor, that guy.
Yeah, he's good. It's really well written. I think his sister's death speech is amazing. When they're she has that heart attack at the restaurant, and then I love it how they're at the beach and they're going to put her ashes in the water, and he reads that speech, and then one of those guys is like, "Is that human remains?" And like, "Fuck you, buddy." They're like, "Fucking what? You can't do that." And like, "We're going to kick your fucking ass." And they start running after him and shit. It's fucking hilarious, and that's feels very holdovers, very sideways. You know what I mean? That sort of interaction. I really love it. And the line, "I still live in fucking Tucson."
It just, as somebody who's lived here forever, it really got the vibe of what it's like to be here and the cynical, even though it's set in Boston and he's just the brother that lives in Tucson. There's still enough of that feeling in there. And it's based on a book, but I feel like the screenwriter put enough of his vibe in it,
The my pathology thing is, you can see him thinking like, how do I write myself out of this? Like, my sister's dead. My mother needs money. I'm broke. I'm a writer. How do I write myself out of this? And he's like, I give up. I've tried making intellectual work, and I'm watching this woman write the most terrible Black culture fiction, the most pandering, ridiculous, tropish ass Black culture fiction, and she's making tons of money. Fuck it. I'm going to lean in and do it. Yeah. And he writes My Pathology, and it's fucking brilliant. Like, it's so goddamn funny. And the movie continues to kind of skewer Black culture, but also skewering white guilt about Black culture. Like, that's my favorite part, is how it just skewers white guilt to death from the very beginning of like, I don't think that's just an offensive word, all the way to later on in the movie where he's still taking shots at that. I'd love it.
And his publisher, it's like the ultimate, where it's like race kind of what, and he doesn't say anything like this, but it's kind of like the race doesn't matter. We're just trying to make a fucking buck, and it's other people who are hung up on that shit. We're just opportunity and money. It's like, it's not even about any of these.
Well, and his thing is like, I wrote the fucking thing to point out how stupid you people are.
It was a joke,
right? Yeah. Like, I wrote this to fucking point out how dumb you people are to think that this is good work. It's terrible work. It's garbage.
He pulls a Tootsie.
How could you think this is good? Yeah, he pulls a Tootsie.
He pulls other persona, and has to deal with the ramifications of it later.
Yeah, it's kind of like, is it kind of like Melvin Van Peebles' Watermelon Man a little bit? I mean, I know that's a complete shift of...
I'd have to watch that again, yeah.
I think there's another one that's like that, where there's a work of art created to kind of skewer the culture. I can't remember
Bamboozled.
what it is. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, Bamboozle. Okay. I want to call it fuck.
This also reminded me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they get up to making Lethal Weapon 7, because they've already race swapped the character several times, gotten canceled for it, and then they're like, okay, now we have to hire actual, people of color to be in the Lethal Weapon 7, and then the whole movie gets taken away from them as retitled White Saviors and put out. And so it's this whole satire skewer on it. And at the end of the episode, they're like, well, I guess there's only one thing left to do. I'm going to go make Lethal Weapon 8. And it's like, no, Mac, no. Mac's going to go back into blackface. They've learned nothing at all. But it was it's like that type of biting satire where, or even like a Tropic Thunder in a way where it's like some people would watch this and be offended by it. But that's the whole point, is that this
point of it.
Yes. The reason you should be offended is not by the thing itself, it's by the machine itself that peripheralates all of this garbage towards you. That's why I like the whole everyone is full of shit angle of it, And it's so crazy to have a satire movie like this that has a genuine slice of life story going on simultaneously. And it all ties in. It's usually one movie or the other, And wow, how his home life it's so cleverly written, because the home life with his mother storyline, it kind of cleverly diverts you away from realizing that the movie is clearly going towards he's going to end up judging his own book. So when it happens, you're like, oh, I should have seen that coming, but I was too busy focusing on the other substoryline. And I'm like, that's so clever. It's just, if you couldn't tell already, I really, really like this one.
I enjoyed it. I like how his rep kind of talks him into actually submitting the book, because when he submits it and he starts getting responses back, he's like, you're fucking kidding me. No. I put the book out there to get the responses, and so I could flip them off and tell them that they're fucking morons, right? Like, I mean, there's that great scene in the bookstore where he's talking to that guy and he goes, yeah, hey, do you know who this writer is? And he's like, I know, no, not really. He's like, well, can you tell me why he's in the African-American section? Well, I believe that's because he's black. Yeah, but the book is not about black people. It's about blah, blah, blah in the South. And he's like, I don't know, man. I just fucking work here. They just tell me where to put the books. He's so frustrated with how his work is being stereotyped when it isn't even. He's like, I'm just black. I'm not writing black literature. Why am I in the black? So it's great how they just
back after you leave, sir. Then he goes over and that other woman's display is there, and he's just like, oh, like, why does she be out here?
Fucking Jesus, it's so
I'm trying
great.
To do something real, and you're doing the stupid shit and getting fucking noticed. Yeah.
I can't think of other movies that do this sort of thing and kind of skewer this sort of type of racial kind of social politics, but I think this one handles it really well and does it in a very funny and smart way. At no time did I feel like it was trying to make whatever white people feel bad for being white or whatever.
It's too smart
just
for
kind
that.
of it's just poking fun at how everybody's just fucking dumb with this stuff, and you just it's one of my favorite lines in the movie is, I've only been gay for like 5 minutes. I got to make up for lost time. And it's like, dude, that's all you do in this movie is you just, I just kept waiting for him to, I kept waiting for him to be trapped somewhere in like a, with like a house with 6 gay men and they're all smoking meth. I was like, well, there you go. Pinnacle. Congratulations.
They keep it very real. Like they show up and he's like, oh, the wedding, I forgot about it. And he's all fucking tweaked out of his mind. And they're trying to throw him out. And then the couple that are getting married, they're like, no, you're family. And he's like, oh, I guess I can just keep partying and hang out with you guys. And it's like, that's more of a real way of handling a situation. And then it's getting more to the heart of it instead of your stereotypical kick them out. And then there's the fight. And then it's like you were saying earlier, like this movie does a lot of clever things. It shows you a lot of things so it doesn't have to repeat them to
tell you
have a conclusion. That's why it doesn't have an ending per se. It has the series of endings instead, because he's already showing you, I wrote this as a joke to send you up. What am I going to do? Come out at the end and say the same speech? You've been watching the movie. It's basically like, okay, I deal with the ramifications. You know what? Life goes on. And that's kind of how it just stops, because it's a slice of life, right? And so all of your answers at the end, you already have them from watching the whole movie. So that's why we don't get a fight with the Cliff character and stuff like that. It's more realistic. And the relationship with the mother as she's slipping in and out. And I mean, there's so many just strong, heartfelt moments. It's just, yeah, I mean, and then there's ridiculous stuff like Chris Rock smoking crack. They used that clip from New Jack City in this movie. I was laughing so fucking hard. That is like the perfect fucking example of the send up. This is what I'm talking about. And you just turn the TV off. And I love his characters coming to life when he's typing them. And now what do I do?
Yeah.
Oh, you do this. Why'd you do that for? Like, why'd you shoot me?
Well, he literally asks one of the characters, what do you think? And the character goes, well, I think I'd do this. And he goes, well, then you should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Buried in this little silly parody of white guilt are some deep themes. Fear of aging, imposter syndrome, family alienation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I love that stuff. It's not just about, which it does really well, this exposure of white guilt and authenticity and black victim mentality. There's a lot of that going on, but there's also these deep themes of like,
that's why,
you know, one of the things that hit me really hard about this movie was how I was like, fuck, you know, I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of scared of getting old. Because watching this movie, it's like, it's not, it doesn't look all that fucking great, to be completely honest with you, man. It looks kind of terrible. And who the hell's going to watch out for you? And who the hell, you know, anyway. And it does that. It handles that deftly while also navigating this guy's, you know, career and all that stuff. And what happens to him? You know, he ends up creating art he hates, but that the masses love.
Yeah.
You know, he ends up this guy, because, you know, they go smash to black and he goes, wait, smash to black, hang on. And then they're on set trying to figure out how to finish the fucking thing. And he's like, fine, whatever. And he drives off and you realize, oh, he doesn't even care about this stuff anymore. Like he's just creating it to make the cash, to make the money. He's figured it out.
That's just what that's going to be. You know, you're not redeeming the Stag Lee books. They are what they are, but.
And we drive off the lot. Fucking, it's got a little bit of Bowfinger in it too, I think.
Yeah. And it's not saying the whole thing is a movie. No, we've seen this is all real, but this is how he's trying to figure out the movie version of it. Cause he's like, set up another meeting with Wiley. I got a new idea for him. And so that's what we're seeing. So it reminds me of our love song movie in a way where we have the stepping out from it kind of. And I'm like, oh, it must be that Tucson thing, right? There's just something in there. Yeah. To be completely vague about it all, but, you know. Movie within a movie.
I was very happily surprised by this movie. I thought I was going to get one thing. I got another. And what I ended up getting in general was just a movie I really enjoyed watching.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny, sharp. It had something to say. It had a point of view. It didn't go overboard with that point of view. It, you know, it was really deftly handled, really well written, really well made.
Yeah, he won't open up to them, right? And then like he's yelling at his girlfriend, like, why are you reading, you know, this? And it's like, but she doesn't know that he wrote that fucking book, man. Of course he had. It's like he's wrong, but he's right, you know. And then he realizes he's going to start opening up to people, and because like his brother tells him, you know, people want to love you. You got to let them. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's so good. The story. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. It's like, that's what I'm saying about it's being deftly written. He really handled the plot well, the subplots, everything ties together nicely. You don't really see any kind of threads being tucked away. It doesn't seem like there's any heavy lifting going on. Everything just seems to kind of make sense and flow and work really well. It's really well done.
Yeah. We've watched a lot of movies for this show. As of this recording, this is the 198th film. And we have watched a lot of movies that I hadn't seen before that I've really, really liked. And this is probably my favorite one of all of those.
Really?
I mean, Dinner in America is right up there. But unfortunately, that one's got some gross stuff that I couldn't share it with just everybody, because there's some things in it that are going to turn some people off, because it's got a little, you know, there's the dead animals and all sorts of things like that that can be a bit much. And like even Hope and Glory, I really like, but that one's can be a little stodgy, a little slow, but I still love it. But this one, I feel like I could show this one to anybody, and there's not going to be anybody who's really going to get, turned off by it unless they have some issues that they need to deal with, I suppose. But what
I
I'm
think,
saying is,
I
I
mean,
love
I
this
think
movie.
people who are sensitive to racial politics or that stuff in general will probably have
Mhm.
something to say about this
Oh,
movie,
I'm
whether
sure.
it's positive or negative.
Yeah, the negative
But
reviews are quite interesting on this.
overall, I would think you're right. It's pretty innocuous for the most part. I don't feel like it's really, it's not like Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee, where it's really trying to
Mhm.
make this really hard statement or
'Cause
whatever. It's
that's not
just
what it is. He's like,
it's smart and it's subtle in what it's doing.
I'm not saying that these other stories don't happen and they're not important to tell, but we're more than just that. It's like that. And that's kind of like the theme of the whole movie in a way, is just like, we're not trying to hit you over the head, but we're saying, can we get past some of this shit? If we're going to keep perpetuating things forever, then, but it also goes
Hmm.
into his relationship with his family and everything else. So it's just, I mean,
Hmm.
love it, love it, love it. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, all the way 5
Five
stars.
stars, really?
This was just
Okay, all
so
right,
fucking good, man. So good. So good.
okay.
So it was funny when I
I'll
watched the beginning of this and go, I love this, and the beginning of Weapons and go, what is going on over here? Both enjoyable in their different ways, I will say, but I loved this one.
I'm not that far over the moon over it, but I do think it was better than Weapons. I would watch it over. If you gave them both to me, I would say let's put on American Fiction. I give it 3.5 stars for sure, and I think that I really like Jeffrey Wright as an actor. He gets better and better and better as he goes, and I do think that there's a bit of a like you said, kind of like a Paul Giamatti type.
Yeah.
But yeah, I truly enjoy I enjoyed the role. I enjoyed it in it quite a bit.
Yeah, probably in my top 100 of all-time movies now somewhere. Uh, Rarely do I feel like I see part of myself in a movie, and I felt very, very seen in this movie. Not since some other movies where it was like this. Obviously, it's not me, but there's enough of the way I feel about things and my personality, and it was there. And that's pretty rare that I come across movies that I can relate to so much, even though you wouldn't think, how the hell am I relating to this? But I feel like it's just an overall kind of thing. And I love the whole satire stuff too. So yeah, 5 all the way. I am going to recommend this to everybody, and I'll probably keep watching it over and over again. I think it's going to give more from me each time I watch it. And I didn't know anything about it. So it was really cool to go in and just be like, holy shit, here
Yeah,
we go. Here we go.
I know it did well. I know it did well during Oscar season, and it was liked by critics and that type of thing. But it
And he
wasn't
gave that
the type of
speech,
movie
right,
that
about
really.
$1 million, right?
Yeah, but it wasn't the type of movie that really resonated. I feel like with the public to a point where it went really big or whatever. Does that
Of
make
course
sense?
not. That's why if it did, I probably wouldn't relate to it. Or vice versa, because I know I'm the outlier. But it is nice to see that some people really appreciated it. And then when they showed it here at the Loft, our local art house, Cord Jefferson did a little introduction for it. And apparently, during the introduction, he said, now you all go out and get a carne asada burrito from Nico's for me. So I'm
Damn
just like,
straight. Damn
even
straight.
though I
Get a
don't eat
carne
meat, I
asada
like the
burrito from
Nico's.
Nico's. My favorite my favorite memories of Tucson are driving around with Wes at 2 or 3 in the morning on a Friday or Saturday night looking for a fucking taco truck. We just look for the busiest one. There'd be 20 or 30 people outside of it and just pull over 2 or 3 in the morning, get some carne asada burritos, man. Get some salsa on that motherfucker and just go to town. Anyway, 3.5 stars for me. So,
Yeah. Tucson screenwriters. Yeah.
what do you got for me next time? So, what is movie 199, sir?
That is right. Movie number 199. Okay, I've gone back and forth many times. And then recently I decided, uh, let's do a pick that probably is going to be more beneficial to us selfishly than any other reason, right? And it's a movie I've only seen parts of, so I haven't seen the whole thing. It is 10 years old, still new enough, right? Your movie next week is The Love Witch.
Witch?
Yeah, so we can look at the cinematography, because remember I told you I like the look of it from what I've seen? That applies to stuff that we're talking about.
That's why that sounds familiar. Wow,
so let's give that a shot. All right, different
for one night, for 100 days. Okay.
Well, sure. I had many different things, but I'm like,
that is an interesting pick. Yeah. Written and directed by Anna Biller. Okay, why not?
Felt like one of those movies we'd find on Cinemax in the middle of the night, and halfway through you're like, turn the sound up on this. What is this? What is this?
Okay, so for the 200th movie, I thought, well, it's 200. Maybe I should do something huge like Lawrence of Arabia. Maybe I should do something like Bridge on the River Kwai. Maybe I should do something that's just completely inoffensive that everyone wants to watch, like The Martian, because you haven't seen that shit either. I've decided to I'm going to go with a classic. It's one you've seen. I know you've seen it. But for the 200th movie, it's science fiction. It's a classic. I'm going to give you Blade Runner.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Should be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Well, what cut are we watching?
We're watching the final cut. The one that Ridley says is the one to watch. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. That'll be an interesting conversation. That's for certain. And maybe throughout the years, viewpoints might change once again. I know I've certainly gone back and forth over that one throughout the years.
Every time I watch it, I wait. I don't watch it much because I like to watch it every 3 or 4 years, because every time I watch it, I get something different out of it, or it says something different to me. It's like visiting an old friend who has gone off on an adventure for 3 or 4 years and comes back and tells you something different, right? He's still your friend. You still know him, but he's got a new story for you. Anyway, that's what I got for you. It was either that or it was going to be Lawrence, and I didn't want to do a 3-hour movie this week. I'm traveling to see you this week, and there's no way I can watch a 3-hour movie.
We're recording that one in person. It's just as well I didn't give you my other choices too, because we would have been sitting around for a while. So I think The Love Witch is relatively short.
Yeah. Blade Runner's not too bad. I think it's hour 50.
Yeah. Watch it in my sleep.
That will probably be one of the only movies that I give you this season that you've actually seen.
That's an older.
Because I have a whole slate of stuff you haven't that we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's mostly what I'm focusing.
But this is the 200th. It deserves to be something that's kind of iconic and a classic. And I thought Blade Runner. It was either that or I was also going to give you Raiders. And if you prefer Raiders, I'll give you Raiders instead.
But Blade Runner's it's in the slot. It's there now. It's loaded.
It's okay. All right. Loaded. Just saying. I have no problem talking about Raiders for 45 minutes.
Oh, we'll get the Raiders at some point.
Yeah, we can do that shit all day long. Oh, you mean one of the greatest movies ever made? Sure. I mean, anyway. You want to get out of here on a quote?
I don't even really believe in race. Yeah, but the problem is everyone else does.
I want to call it fuck.
That's a great name. We can do it.
All right, man. Until next time. Later, man.
Don't miss an episode. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, and keep listening to the show on the app of your choice. Do it now.